Hey everyone, Scott Cunningham at Gay Scotsy Business. Today we're going to be talking about closed community decentralized platforms. Typically what I mean by this is platforms where the users only see other users within the node that they are using within that network. Now, it sounds a little confusing, so what I'm going to do for this is I'm going to review as if I were joining a new platform, and going on it for the first time, 3 different very popular platforms that operate like this. Because people have typically asked me when I do comprehensive reviews, why do I always, toss these to the side and say, no, I won't use these and I won't recommend these? Because from a decentralization standpoint, they seem like very, very well set up, and that's exactly what you might want. But that's really all you're getting. And here's the issue, right? You're separated in all these communities. They also typically don't have any cryptocurrency aspects, so you can't monetize and earn. So they really only cover the decentralization aspect, which you can get with most platforms, also with monetization and a much bigger connected community. So let's start off by taking a look at the most popular one, and that is, from what I've seen, is Mastodon. So again, it's essentially like, here they even boast, 4.4 million people. They make it look like you're about to join a Twitter platform that is just free speech and community owned and ad free. Sounds really great aside from lacking crypto, but in all other respects, it sounds like a very, very awesome platform. And you're like, awesome, this is going to be great. I'm going to have this huge community, all this great stuff, free speech. But actually, when you actually go to join, it's very specific groups, and they typically don't have very many people in said groups. So we're looking at general here. The first few things that pop up are questions others to teach ourselves, a STEM-oriented instance. So this is specifically about education, but you have no idea who's in there or, if they're actually going to be talking about education. You hope. This is literally an Antifa group, which is a terrorist organization. So that's great to see on the front page. Yikes. This is just a general English-speaking instance. There's only 1.6 thousand people. Like, here's the issue, right? It's great that they have all these like niches, but because you can't see outside of that and you have to individually join all of them, they make it so challenging to be in multiple and like make it easy to do so. No one's going to be logging out and logging in and going to all these different nodes just for specific niches when they could easily be done with, Twitter, just looking at different hashtags or different categories or topics on other platforms. They want you to sign up every time you're looking at a new niche. And there's just not enough people for this to even have a true representation of what people think in that niche. And while maybe that's unfair, I think going around boasting that you have 4.4 million, which is the most out of any blockchain social platform or alternative platform that I'm aware of, that should technically be the most. But if it's all broken up into 8,000 person communities that can't see outside of their own community, it's just all these little bubbles of people who, yes, have similar interests, but also people who are probably like within those bubbles, not really being able to see outside of that, right? I'm sure, like, they're not trying to get political here, but I'm sure all the Antifa people generally agree on the same things, and they're not seeing the rest of the conversation that everyone else is having. They're just sticking to their radical leftist bubble and living within that. And that really takes away, the true social media experience of what social media is supposed to be. It's not supposed to be a bunch of closed-knit communities. It is supposed to be everyone participating in the conversation in in a public forum, not like secret communities that are all talking to themselves and everyone's boosting each other's ego within their own community and saying they're great and they're correct. This is supposed to be free speech, but it kind of gets away from the values of free speech when it's just people who agree with each other all in little small communities that can't even see outside of those communities, rather than people all coming to, give their opinions and speak in a public forum. Mind you, there might be more in certain, categories, but I mean, look, there's only one journalism one and there's only 1.5 thousand people. Most of the people in there are probably journalists then. Like there's no range. There's not a big range of what's out there. Some of the most popular ones only have 7,000. Below that, it's like 500, 200, 100, one other, 1,000 one. So it's not very realistic, and it really doesn't represent what they boast for themselves as being one of the top platforms for this. And again, while they do have an interesting, unique thing to bring to the table, this isn't really crypto monetized, so it kind of isn't really that important to my blockchain social media reviews. But people mention this a lot in platforms like this, and they wonder why I don't really give them much peace or much attention. I was going to say peace of mind, but that didn't make sense. I don't really give these much attention because, again, they're all just closed off communities that are all agreeing with each other, and it's acting like it's this huge platform, but really it's just everyone in their own sectors. And a lot of it seems to be political, right? And leftward politics. So it's like, why is the technology section about politics and so is the general section? And, I don't know if this is all just about politics or, I mean, I'm sure it's not, but again, there's also very little information. You don't see any of the content. You have to join, then you can see it. Like, can I just view it? See, the thing is, right, you're probably going to have to actually go to the website to actually start viewing it. And you have to sign up. See, I can't just go in and start looking at it and then think, okay, well, I mean, this seems like a pretty cool platform. I will join it and I will use it. Nope, you have to join and then figure out if you like it, and then you can come back. And it's like, you have to sign up for every platform. I can't stress how ridiculous this is to expect that people would do this. Whenever I review any of these platforms, it's always from the perspective of, would the average person be willing to do this? Would they be able to go through all the resistance points that you've set up and still want to bother with this platform? In this case, I would say absolutely not. You're not going to have people signing up 50 times for every niche that they want to be a part of. They're all tiny niches in sectioned off communities. You can't see what's there unless you sign up. It's very far from what I would have expected from this great free speech platform that is supposed to be, so open and community owned, and it's just really not what it makes itself out to be. I've been focusing a lot on Mastodon, so let's take a look at Diaspora. I also have the Federation, but really what this is just a list of all these projects. And again, they're all really the same. So if you are curious and you do like this kind of thing, then the Federation is exactly where you should go to find all of these and review them yourself, because maybe you like one of them. See, a lot of people tell me to join PeerTube. It's like, why aren't you posting on PeerTube? It's like, because first off, they have I believe it was like a 1 gig upload limit, so I would have to upload my videos in like 256 pixels, or like just like the worst resolution you could possibly do for it to even be possible. And again, tiny communities of like 500 to 1,000 people, all these different communities. It's like, it really depends what you're looking for. I think as someone who's well versed in exploring and researching all these social media platforms, I don't think people are looking for tiny sectioned off communities. Otherwise, they would just start little group chats and that would be it. If you're looking for a new social media platform, you're trying to connect with everyone in that space in its entirety and be able to use the advantages of the new platform. So people who join Steam, people who join PublishOX and all these different platforms, they join it because there's these promises of decentralization, anti-censorship, so it's censorship resistant. You've got community moderation. You've got being able to earn cryptocurrency. This is all really for Steam, but for PublishOX, yes, you're able to earn cryptocurrency, and that's usually one of the huge drives to get people to go on there, because it's like, wow, you can earn for your content. And when a lot of these really compelling things are missing from this platform, and they just took the approach of decentralization and, you know, free speech, which is important, but that's the only thing they cover. And then I feel like it kind of gets away from free speech when the whole point of these platforms is to be sectioned off in small communities. Yes, you have the free speech and the freedom to talk about what you want, but only with the people that agree with you for the most part. And they're all just little bubbles, and it's not real it's not a real representation of what the community really thinks. And I think social media should be an extension to what you can say, not putting us into bubbles or limiting what you should be able to say. The whole point of social media is to represent a public forum opinion of what people think about different things and what they want to share and talk about, not in these tiny closed communities where you can't even see what they're saying unless you join. And it's a huge, you know, like hassle to be signing up for all these different platforms. I'll have all the links for these in the description. Again, Diaspora is basically the same thing. Number one, choose a pod. You think that you would be choosing a pod here, but you're actually getting sent to a Wikipedia that is going to help you try. And when someone clicks on this and sees this, all this stuff, I guarantee you they're going to be so overwhelmed. They're just going to be like, nope, there's no way. And it'll link you back to the Federation so you can actually find all the nodes and pods that you could join. There's an active pods list and pod uptime, which I actually just had open right here. But this will just show you all of the ones that you could potentially join. And as you can see, most of them are pretty empty. Say I wanted to join Canada, right? So I was looking specifically for Canadian ones, and I wanted something that actually had a decent amount of people in it. The biggest possible one is only 826 users, and they're not even allowing signups. So the second biggest one then is 537, and they had a decent amount of services like Twitter and all that. This just has WordPress publishing. And so this would be the one that I would be joining because it's the next biggest one. But again, it's only 537 people. That's so small. Why would I want to be, you know, limiting myself to 537 random people that are, there's not even a real reason as to why you would want to be with these people other than the fact that they're just Canadians and you can chat with them. Like, I mean, what's the benefit to this? Yes, they have good uptime. That's great. But there's really no reason why anyone would be drawn to joining this, right? It's like, why is this better than this one or worse? Aside from, well, I mean, if you're considering uptime, if you're going to go by uptime, then you would just go on Mastodon Sandwich, 100% uptime. Like there's all these, but there's less people, right? So there's all these arbitrary reasons as to why you might join these platforms. But at the end of the day, you might think to yourself, well, why would I even bother with this when I could just talk to everyone? Why section myself off between all these different things? Like, why is any of these better than the next? And if I said auto pick, it just gives me some random platform that I hope is good. And again, with all of these, you never get to see what's on the platform unless you sign up. So yes, you own your data. That's awesome. Choose who you want to be, choose your audience. But the audience you're choosing is like the smallest audience you could possibly interact with. Here's the thing. Even if you wanted to have small communities, you wouldn't want to have small communities with random people that has nothing connecting you to them aside from the fact that maybe you're both Canadian and you like good uptime on your nodes. Like why is that worthy of building on and dedicating all my time to this thing that is just a bunch of random people that I don't know, and the only thing that connects us together is that we chose Canada. I mean, they might not even be Canadian, half of these people. So again, a lot of these things are really arbitrary and not super important. So considering how small these communities are, you're really not going to be able to get the word out, and people might just choose another community, and then that might get super popular and you wasted all your time on this one because you were trying to get on one where you were actually going to see a lot of people end up using it, not for these tiny communities. It might make sense if you have a community with your friends and you want to have this free speech, platform for you guys to all use. That might actually make sense. But in terms of a actual social media use case, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. I could keep reviewing and going through all of these, but it's all going to be super similar. Someone just asked a while back that I please consider making a video explaining exactly why I don't think these like closed off pod node communities are going to ever get widely adopted. I still fervently believe that, and I will not recommend any of these platforms on my comprehensive reviews. But you tell me, do you use any of these platforms? What are your thoughts on them? Was I kind of on the mark, or do you think I was wrong about some of these things? I'm curious to hear what you guys think. And if you did watch to the very end, make sure to comment #1ham in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. You are amazing. Have an amazing day. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. I'm Scott Cunningham, aka Scottsy Business, signing off. Cheers.